Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today I'm going to be talking all about the recent announcement from Nintendo that they are going to be doing a Super Mario film. But more interestingly than that, they're going to be partnering with Illumination. And in order to talk about this properly, I've enlisted the help of a man that needs no introduction, but he's going to get one anyway. It's Alex from, Alex, I Hate Everything. Alex, say hello, Alex.
Hello, thanks for having me on. Can't wait to talk about this.
It's it just seemed like too perfect an opportunity because you've made your opinions about Illumination fairly apparent over the years.
Yeah, I have.
And
sure.
Yes, also it's just nice to talk to another Alex. I think I've collaborated with more Alexes than any other name combined.
We have to stick together.
We do, don't we? So yes, I think this has been rumored for a while now. So
yeah,
it's good that it's come to light at last. Thanks to, I believe it was the annual general report or something, the thing that comes out every year that I've forgotten the name of. And yes, so Illumination is it's an animation company, isn't it?
It certainly is. One with not the greatest track record, in my opinion.
No.
There are lots of avenues to think about with this news. Let's just talk about Illumination first, right? So Illumination don't have the best track record, as I just said, and I mean they've made 8 films. I have the information up now, and I don't know. I guess Despicable Me, the original, is the only one that you could kind of defend and say that's a fine film. That's okay.
Yeah,
there's an idea there.
It's fine, isn't it? It's there's nothing inherently. I mean, I watched it for the first time. I'd had a few when I first watched it, and my friends were like, "Oh, it's amazing, watch it." And I genuinely really enjoyed it. And then I happened to see it a second time when I wasn't drunk, and sort of saw it a little bit, and I was a bit like, Usually you'd assume the second viewing is when you really, when you appreciate things more, as you said recently in your Star Wars video.
Yeah, it's very schmaltzy, silly, but it's fine, I guess. But then you move into the other films they've made, like Hop, which came next, which is just abysmal. The Lorax, which is just a meme. Despicable Me 2, it's just a cynical sequel. Minions, it just speaks for itself. Secret Life of Pets, I personally thought was incredibly lame and was like a cat YouTube video turned into a full movie that's animated. Sing, I've let my thoughts known about, and Despicable Me 3, I just thought was so dreadful. It was such a typical, we have no ideas for a sequel to our big franchise, let's just put a 3 at the end and make it the most generic story ever. And then that's all they've made at the moment. So when they made this collaboration known, I was like, oh no, anyone else, even the people who made the Emoji movie would have been better, just because they've got that Spider-Man movie coming out that looks cool. They have some talent there, but the whole thing, Illumination's whole deal is that they make animated movies for cheap. They're like a business first, and the art comes later. That's what I dislike about them the most. They've never made an animated movie for over $100 million, which for an animated movie is for animation it's very expensive. It's hard to do that, but they've kind of formulated this really cynical way of making these animated films with reusing assets and just planning it in such a way where they don't need to really spend that much money on it, just so they can get this product out that they know they can get loads of money through advertising and products and all this stuff, and they don't really have to think about the actual art. So it's going to kind of come down to the talent at the end of the day. Yeah,
I mean, all we can really assume is that, we know that Shigeru Miyamoto is producing, but that doesn't really say anything, because it could just be
I think he's
something.
Co-producing as well.
Yeah, he's co-producing with Charles... No, I'm thinking of Charles Martinet, the head of Illumination.
It's Chris Meledrondo.
That's
whatever
it,
he's called. Yeah. So he's produced all the other Illumination films, so that's not exactly good. I guess it's going to come down to director and writer, in terms of, because I don't know what they can really do. Because this is the other part of it. We've got to move on to talking about Mario now.
Mario's a very basic character, isn't he? I mean,
exactly.
He's very appealing, and obviously because that he's so popular that he's been in more video games than I think any other character ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's just because he is so totally and utterly inoffensive. There's nothing wrong about him. He's very straightforward, but that doesn't translate into a film.
I think he's an incredibly restrictive character. I mean, the whole Mario franchise is incredibly restrictive, like by design. Nintendo like having immense control over Mario, and you know they don't want people to be messing with that brand, their most valuable like icon. So I feel like this is just the perfect mix of terrible. Like I can't see Nintendo giving any, like, even if like Pixar got a hold of it, I can't even imagine Nintendo letting them really go loose and go weird, because for me Mario is the most interesting when it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like I played Odyssey recently, and I like all the weird creatures he turns into and the new things, but I have a feeling like Nintendo's kind of going to restrict Illumination to, you have Goombas, you have Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Bowser. That's it.
Well, I mean, there is a little bit of a little glimmer of hope with the recent Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle game, because that was entirely Ubisoft, and I mean, on paper, bringing Mario and the Rabbids together is just a terrible idea.
Yeah, they're the minions of the game world.
It shouldn't work, but they managed to make it an incredible game, and the two do kind of go together. And I have to take my hat off to the devs that pushed it and managed to make it happen, because it works really well. So maybe there's a slight bit of hope there, but when the people you're collaborating with is Illumination.
Yeah. With that Rabbids game, what do you remember about that game? Is it the gameplay?
Yeah, it's the game. It's the gameplay and Rabbid Kong.
So it's not the story.
No.
And that's like my point. Like, how are you supposed to make a film about this? Can you really? Is there someone out there who sees Mario and he thinks, you know what, this character is really interesting. I have a story I want to tell in this universe.
Yeah.
Like, what are the themes that Mario is built around? What are the like thematic things that, when you think of Mario, pop into your head?
Mushrooms and jumping. That's pretty much it.
Exactly. There's nothing to work with. Like, whenever I think about really cynical movies that are coming out, I think of like the Lego movie originally. That sounds like the most cynical, dreadful idea for a movie. But then when you really think about it, Lego is not restrictive at all.
No.
It's the complete opposite. It's all about imagination and creativity, and they even have the whole thing with the instructions being like really limiting and embracing your creativity and whatnot. But Mario doesn't have that. It's a guy who was designed out of necessity.
Yeah, I mean, he was specifically designed to fit into any situation, just to sort of plop in. So he has to be, by his very nature, extremely generic. And I love Mario. I'm not ragging on Mario. I just don't think it's suited to a film. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I just don't have the confidence in it.
And think about this too. Like, what is Mario, even to this day, still bashed for doing? Princess Peach is captured. They have to go rescue her, right? Can they really make a movie doing that? Because I don't think they can. And that's all that Mario is, really.
Yeah, I mean, there have been some slightly different plot lines along the way, but it pretty much always boils down to the very typical damsel in distress. Mario's the savior, and he gets it. I mean, they did have the TV show, which the less said about that, the better. Although it is hilarious to go back and watch it,
and the movie as well.
Oh god,
decades ago.
Well, that should prove as much as anything that it wasn't a Mario film. It had almost nothing to do with Mario. It was just his name
alone,
and looked marginally like, they made Bob Hoskins look a little bit like him.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work as a concept. And again, I do want to stress, because I don't want people to think that I'm being overly negative. I would love to be proven wrong. I would absolutely love for a Mario film to be a massive success and to be another feather in Nintendo's cap. But I just can't picture a plot. I just can't picture a plot.
No, that's it. And think about how family friendly Mario is and how little you can do with it. This film is going to have to go for an age range so young. I don't think they can even appeal to adults.
No.
You know? Like, what can they do? I if I was like hired as a writer for this film, I would be pulling my hair out, because what can you do? And especially if you come up with this great idea for a story, it's weird, it's different, it turns Mario into a character, then you show it to Nintendo, they're like, no, can't do that.
Yeah.
Too different, too weird, it needs to fit within these lines. And it's like, what can you achieve with this?
I think you would have infinitely more scope if you chose any other character from the franchise except Mario. You could probably just about do a Luigi film. You could easily do a Wario film, because Wario is probably one of the most developed characters. I'd love a Waluigi film. I think that would just be ridiculous. Yeah, Wario and Waluigi go to Venice or something.
Yeah. It has to start somewhere, though, and it's going to start with their main icon. I could see something to do with the brother relationship thing, but to really expand that, you'd already have to have a movie with just Mario.
Yeah.
And then have the Luigi side of it. I don't know.
And Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, he does fantastic work, but I think the issue is that Mario doesn't really do dialogue that much.
That's another huge problem.
He does, he has done dialogue, and we've even worked with Charles Martinet, and it was a huge honor.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was fantastic. He read out a script I wrote. It was honestly a massive moment. But and that works in short bursts. But I'm not sure whether it can work for a whole film.
Yeah, I don't know if it would just be exhausting to hear an hour and a half of someone doing that Italian accent that's built around catchphrases.
Yeah, I mean, they could maybe go with a. He sort of does, it maybe doesn't talk that frequently. I mean, possibly if they go, in a very artistic direction where there's, you could almost have no dialogue.
Yeah.
But I don't think Illumination necessarily would approve that, because it doesn't appeal to as broad a demographic as possible.
Yeah, yeah. And I was also thinking about, how is this film going to look? Because when I think about it, I just think it's going to look like the 2D, 3D Mario games, if you know what I mean. What they called? New Super Mario Bros. That series, where they're kind of CG characters. They're not 2D, sprites anymore. But I don't really want to see that. Yeah,
I can't see it looking anything, looking any other way, apart from maybe a bit like Odyssey. But that's extremely similar. It's just Mario's got hair follicles, and you can see the material in Cappy, but that's it. It's still pretty much the same art style.
That's. I was thinking about, what can they even do with the art direction? Even that is restricting.
Yeah. I must admit, I went into this discussion hoping that we'd come up with at least some answers to questions, but as far as
every avenue, every single one there comes a stopping gap, and you're like, I don't know what you could do about that.
Yeah.
It's just going to look like, I bet you, when the trailer comes out, it's just going to look like a trailer for a video game, like a new video game, a new Mario game.
Yeah. It's really depressing, to be honest, because, sort of taking Mario and expanding him further, doing something interesting with him would be really, interesting, for lack of a better term. But again,
it just contradicts the entire brand.
It does, yeah.
You got to take a different Nintendo character. You got to take Samus or literally anyone else who isn't Mario, because he is that face. He's the perfect, untouchable. He needs to be presented in this certain way figure.
Yeah. I think the only one worse would be Mr. Game & Watch, but that's because he's literally just a bit
my main in Smash.
Well, yeah.
No, exactly. So all of that, just talking about the Nintendo restrictions and what Mario is enough of it raises enough problems on its own. Then you factor in Illumination. These are the guys who are some of the most cynical people in the big budget animation world at the moment. Who they make products before they make movies. They base things around what will sell the most toys, how can we market this in the most effective way, and I just don't see a quality film coming from this.
No. Every time I'm constantly looking for anything, and the only thing I've got is Ubisoft did it with another video game, But even then, Mario was probably, again, like he is in every single game he's in, probably the least interesting character in it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a completely different medium.
It's no bad thing for a video game. It's fine. He's just designed to be, you know, a blank slate that you can impress.
I'm not criticizing Mario.
No. I wasn't
as a concept or as a... No, I'm just making it clear for people listening. Like, I really, really like Mario as a
still
character.
Be comments.
I know. But like, it's when you have to make that jump. Like, have you played the Mario kind of RPGs that exist?
The Mario and Luigi
and
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have to for my job.
They have stories, right?
Yeah, generally they do, but the thing about those is that although there is a story in there, as far as I can tell, Mario and Luigi never actively have dialogue. They do converse, but it's nonsense. Other characters have dialogue, but Mario and Luigi just sort of go, you know, it's just, you know, it's gibberish.
So even that game, which has a story with them in, like, doesn't have Mario as a character. He's a stand-in. It's going to be a real challenge. With some really talented writers and directors and animation choreographers and whatnot, might be able to think of a funny visual way of representing him, where there isn't much dialogue and it's all about him just being a stand-in and everyone else around him kind of reacting to him and propelling him forward. But that is a real challenge. Like, only like the masters of animation can kind of do that without loads of dialogue in there.
Yeah, and even then, I think you'd have, you know, you might be able to do that for like an episode of a TV program or a short or something like that. But for a full-length film, it's just going to get tiresome.
Movie, yeah. And think about like other characters. We're focusing on Mario. Think about, you remember Mario Sunshine? They had the terrible voice acting for Bowser. Junior. Bowser's going to have a voice, surely. All these other characters are going to have a voice.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did it in Odyssey, which you said you've played, which is excellent, by the way. Bowser did have a voice, but it was sort of not gibberish, but it sounded like a false language, a language that doesn't exist. Exactly, yeah.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, that when characters mostly speak in that game, it comes up in like a text box.
Absolutely, yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. I can't see how they're going to make it work. I just can't see it.
It's just such a bad idea. Maybe for like 3 little shorts that Nintendo put up on their website, I could see that.
Yeah.
As like and have the Illumination guys animate that in the same way they do the silly Minion shorts, whatever. But a film.
Yeah.
This is a film. You know, it's supposed to have a beginning, middle, and end. What beginning, middle, and end? What arc can Mario as a character go through?
Well, maybe they could do like Mario Pulp Fiction, where it's a load of, you know, the different characters and they all come together in different ways.
But then you have to remember that it has to be like a kid's film. It has to be a kid's film. It has to work for young children, most importantly. It has to be safe for the brand. Nintendo have to approve it. And if you go into a boardroom and say, take Mario, take Pulp Fiction, smash them together, they're all going to punch you in the head and be angry.
Which is a shame, because that's the sort of film that I would really love to see.
Yeah, I think for it to work, it has to be weird. It has to be out there. It has to be either visually incredibly strange with loads of weird animation techniques and strange choreography and stuff like that, and weird visual designs and creativity that way, because they're really going to have to compensate for the story. And they're going to have a really talented dialogue writer in here, and some really good voice actors too, if they're going to go down the voice route for making all these characters speak.
Poor old Charles Martinet. He voices most of the characters in Mario. He does Mario, he does Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, all the baby versions of those as well. And he also at one point did Yoshi.
Really?
Which was, but I think only for one game in the end. But he's an extremely talented voice actor, because he also did Parthenax in Skyrim.
Really?
Yeah. That's Charles Martinet. You'd
I
never know.
knew that, but forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, my biggest fear is going to be, you sit down to watch the film, you're thinking, okay, this might be fine. Let's just give it a chance. And you're watching it and you're just thinking, I should just be playing the game right now.
Yeah.
I should have a controller in my hand. What is the point in this existing?
Yeah.
You know? Like when I could be having fun on my Switch, having a little play on a real Mario game, designed from the ground up for what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I've just had another awful thought as well.
What?
Illumination are probably going to want to introduce an original character to make it, as appealing as possible, and to give them some sort of narrative. So there's going to be a new character.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that I can imagine Illumination really wanting to do that, or taking the most appealing Mario characters and really sort of babyfying them and making them the minions, effectively. But I couldn't really think of anything beyond, like, Goombas, I guess you could kind of minionize, because they don't say anything, they run around being silly.
Well, I mean, you could maybe do it with the Koopalings. I mean, they're already established characters, but...
Toad might be able to.
Toad, possibly, but I don't know, I think Toad's got too much detail in the design to be a Minions character, which is really saying something.
But then again, do you really think Nintendo will let Illumination, like, create an original character or characters for Mario? Or are they going to go down that dreadful route of incorporating the kid gets sucked into the game kind of thing?
Oh, God, don't.
No, that's like, that is the easy way out, because you have the kid in there who, that's immediate, like, kid audience recognition, makes it relatable immediately.
I hadn't even considered that, and that's probably what they're going to do.
Yeah, and I cannot imagine anything worse. It just makes you think of all these terrible shows from the 90s that all began with someone being sucked into their, like, computer screen, into a game.
Yeah, I just... God, no.
Mario, teach me how to jump. That's the arc. The kid would have an arc, and Mario would just be this superhero kind of figure who wouldn't need any development, and he would just be a catchphrase dispenser.
It's just the Karate Kid, and with Mario as Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
And then the kid comes back, and he's able to beat up the bully at last, and he's able to get the girl, and he gets good grades. Oh.
Yeah, so something will happen to Mario where he can't beat Bowser on his own, and he needs the kid's help or something. He needs to train the kid. Illumination's probably listening to this, and they're like, "Yes, that's the idea. Let's go with that
one." Oh my God. Well, I think that's. I'm not sure I want to talk about it anymore.
I know, it's
I feel worse about it now than I did at the start.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's been incredible having you on the channel. So thank you so much for coming along.
Thanks for having me. It was fun to talk about.
Yeah, you can, if you want to check out I Hate Everything, click that card up in the corner. All sorts of wonderful, wonderful videos, far higher quality than anything you'll find on this channel. And is there anything you'd like to say to our viewers?
Hold out as much hope as you wish for this movie, and I will too. We're being cynical here, but we'll at least wait for a trailer.
Who knows? Who knows? We could be
we never
entirely
know.
wrong.
There's no director or writer attached, so... And thanks for having me on.
Thank you again, and thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you hate that subscribe button, and be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.